Hi, Gene here with today's thought. Maybe most of the defense that we hear from our friends on the left of the Joe Biden administration, of Joe Biden himself, and of the Democratic Party boils down to this question: who or what are you going to believe? What we tell you, our narrative, or your own eyes? And we're going to have a perfect example of it today. We're going to be talking about if you're believing your own eyes, the obvious coordination between the White House and I guess the Democratic Party and these local lawfare prosecutions of Donald Trump. And I would also add Jack Smith too at the federal level, that they are claiming that this is all some kind of coincidence, just a objective pursuit of justice. We can see with our own eyes that that is not true. And I'm just going to just show you right now. We're talking about specifically, well, you know what, let's just go right to this chart here I'm going to put up. This is from actually Andy Biggs. He's a representative, Republican representative, of course, in the House. So let's put it up right now and let's just go through it together. It's basically a timeline, and I'm going to read it to you, and then I'll have my thoughts at the end, probably very brief thoughts. And here we go. September 9th. Okay, oh, this is all 2022. This was in 2022. September 9th, President Joe Biden made a controversial statement asserting we just have to demonstrate that he, meaning Trump, will not take power if he does run, making sure that he hadn't announced yet whether he was going to run for president for a second time. So we just have to demonstrate that he will not take power if he does run, making sure that he, under legitimate efforts of our Constitution, wink, wink, nod, nod, does not become the next president. September 9th. November 7th, Donald Trump hinted at a significant announcement stating, I have a big announcement coming. November 15th, Trump announced his candidacy for the 2024 presidential election. Now let's see what happened after that, after November 15th. November 18th, just 3 days later, Matthew Colangelo, the third highest ranking official at the Department of Justice, DOJ, resigned from his position. So first of all, that number 3, that's a very high position. That's what that's a position that attorneys, a lot of them all over the country, if they're working in the government, this is what they aspire to. Not, well, they would love to head the Justice Department completely, but it would be very unusual for somebody. He'd have to have a very strong reason to resign, which he did on November 18th. And so that's 3 days after Trump announces his candidacy. Now, just 3 days, well, same day, Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed Jack Smith as a special counsel to oversee 2 separate investigations against Donald Trump. So there you go. You have Jack Smith appointed as a special counsel just 3 days after Trump announces that he's running for the presidency. And we're supposed to believe that if Trump had not announced he was running for the presidency, that Merrick would have been appointed. And okay, so that's one thing. That's the one narrative you have to believe. Now, same day, November 18th, Nathan Wade, a figure associated with Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis's prosecution of Trump, spent 8 hours in meetings with White House lawyers. So again, just 3 days. This is the case in, well, it's currently suspended because this is the Georgia case about election interference from Donald Trump, whether Fani Willis should even be on that case, whether she should be disqualified. So an appeals court has agreed to hear the plea. It will not be heard until after the election. But anyways, you see, this is again November 18th, just 3 days after Trump announces he's running for president. And finally, December 2nd, back to Matt Colangelo. Matt Colangelo made the decision to join Manhattan District Attorney Bragg's office starting on Matthew Colangelo made the decision to join Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office. Matthew Colangelo made the decision to join Manhattan District Attorney Colangelo made the decision to join Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office starting on December. Matthew Colangelo made the decision to join, guess what? Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office starting on December 5th. So November 18th, Colangelo resigns from a plum assignment at the national level, number 3 in the Justice Department, and he resigned to do what? To become an employee, actually, of Alvin Bragg in Manhattan, an employee of the Manhattan District Attorney. So we have to believe, well, what is the... I report, you decide, but you have to wonder why, what other reason could there be for Colangelo to leave such a high position to go work in a Manhattan DA's office, unless it were to work? What else has he worked on? Actually, that's a good question. What other case has he worked on besides the Donald Trump prosecution? And this will be interesting to see, a little aside here, now that the trial is over, well, there may be an appeal, but it will be interesting to see what happens going forward. Is he going to stay at the local level, or will he move on now that the trial, that if he moves on fairly soon, or when the Trump issue is dead one way or the other, that would tell you that, to me, that would be all the proof that you need that it was totally political. But the main point, getting back, okay, that's number one. But number two, the main thing that you have to look at is Nathan Wade's meeting at the White House for 8 hours. What is a local DA, not even the DA, employee for the DA? Well, let me look up what is his position again? Figure, well, he just says a figure associated. He was the lead prosecutor, an employee basically of Fani Willis, a subordinate to Fani Willis. He was the lead prosecutor. He's been disqualified from the case, but he was, well, the judge who has to run for election, he whiffed, he punted. He, instead of disqualifying both of them, said that one or the other, Fani Willis or Nathan Wade, had to leave had to step off the case, and Nathan Wade did it. But before that, he met in the White House. What is Nathan Wade doing in the White House? What is his purpose for going there? And the same logic, it's just as Colangelo, what other reason could there be except that to discuss with the White House this prosecution of Trump? That, again, I wonder, would that have happened if Trump had decided not to run for re-election? Actually, in Fani Willis's cases, maybe, because she hates him. She obviously hates him that much. But this is, as I said, I report, you decide, and the question boils down to this. This is what you have to ask yourself, especially now that I've given you this timeline. Who do you believe? Who or what do you believe? The narrative, the claims from the White House and their sycophants and their stenographers and the mainstream press, nothing to see here, move on, or do you believe your own eyes? Your own eyes and your own common sense, I would add. To me, there is no other conclusion except that all these prosecutions of Trump, they are all political prosecutions, including the Jack Smith prosecutions. Well, let's just dwell on Jack Smith for a moment, because two of the cases are falling apart. The only one left maybe is the classified documents case, and that's not going too well for the prosecution, and Jack Smith may actually be thrown off the case, because there's a very strong argument. I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but a strong argument that his very appointment was unconstitutional. Well, I will say briefly, the argument is that he, as a special prosecutor, he is an officer of the United States, and officers of the United States have to be must be nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Neither of those things happened in the case of Jack Smith. He was just summarily appointed by Merrick Garland. So that's the argument. And just for my friends on the left who may be watching this, that if Jack Smith is thrown off the case, that doesn't, well, whoever replaces him will have to start over, but it's really an own goal. It's their own foul, because Merrick Garland could have appointed instead of Jack Smith. Why did he pick him, except that he's known for going aggressive, stretching the law to go after people. In fact, John Edwards, former presidential candidate, he was, Jack Smith went after him, got him convicted on a crime, and it was reversed, the conviction, 9-0 unanimously by the Supreme Court. That's the kind of guy he is. But Garland could have appointed any of 92 U.S. attorneys working under him, because all of them, they are officers. They were all nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate. He could have picked any one of them. He did not have to pick Jack Smith. So again, it's so obvious that this is all political. I guess my last thought that I was getting to is that the whole classified document things, no other presidents have retained classified documents after leaving office, and none of them had their homes raided. And in the case of Donald Trump, a very simple solution would have been just go to court, get a court order, and then if Trump, which he would not, but if he had disobeyed a court order, go all the way up to the Supreme Court. So we'll say a Supreme Court order to do whatever, to turn over the documents. I'm sure he would have complied, but Smith didn't do that. He just raided his house. And there is, I guess I have to add another detail, because a memo, an email has surfaced since that happened, saying that Trump, by the FBI, confirmed, it was an FBI email memo that Trump was cooperating with the FBI, and he said he had told them specifically he was there, FBI was there. He said, look around, look at anything you want to look at. So that's, I don't want to get off on a tangent. I should end now, but that's my thought for today. I report, you decide, just like Fox News, and unlike the mainstream media, who always have a narrative and always slant their coverage. This is, and I should talk about that someday, about the right way to report news, and maybe I will. But for now, that's it. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.